What's up, everybody? This is Josh coming to you with another episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest affiliate marketing news, tips, and trends. Once again, I'm Josh from OfferVault.com, the industry's largest affiliate marketing aggregator and information website. We got you covered on everything affiliate marketing related. A big shout out goes to today's podcast sponsor, Pinup Partners, the premier affiliate program and direct advertiser for pinup iGaming products. They've got an impressive reach covering a wide variety of geos across the CIS, Asia, and South America. What sets Pinup Partners apart is their detailed stats per player and an outstanding average reg to DAP rate of 33%. This is all thanks to their easy registration funnel, local payment methods, and local licenses in select geos, making it a breeze for players to get started and stay engaged. And affiliates, listen closely, all right? This is important. You can earn more by partnering with Pinup Partners. It's a fantastic way to boost your income and take advantage of a booming market. So again, don't miss out. Sign up today through the link in the description and start your journey with pinuppartners.com. We also have Mr. Paper Call Adam Young, as well as the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, and our special guest today, Scott Richter, founder of Redirect.com and the Big Jackpot. He's an individual that's skilled in SEO, digital strategy, landing page optimization, mobile advertising, direct response marketing, and most importantly, winning huge jackpots at the casino. Scott, what is up, man? How are you doing today?
Good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Adam Harrison, I'm sorry to disappoint you. There was no shtick today. Scott, I usually do the sponsor read in some goofy voice, but then Adam Harrison make fun of me. So today I thought I'd keep it professional. Now they're going to be upset. I didn't do it. This is kind
I
of
think
what our
whatever you do,
relationship
we
is
will
like.
never be satisfied.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that was
fair.
pretty bad. If I were pinup partners, I'd kind of be pissed. Not gonna
It was
lie.
lackluster. It's like a boarding
Well,
announcement at an airport.
I also think you forgot a lot of Scott's amazing skills and credentials.
Well, Adam, I was hoping that you would fill us in on all of the other amazing things Scott has accomplished and done with his life. Please go on.
Well, I mean, he's essentially the godfather of email marketing.
Yeah.
I remember seeing his name the first time in a book in my parents' basement when I was a teenager. He was on The Daily Show for
Yep.
email marketing, which was
He is also the founder of CPA Empire, which was the first affiliate network I was ever
yeah,
an affiliate of.
yeah.
You're in like middle school when you joined?
Yeah, I would talk to you and your team on a sidekick 2 from French class, and I had to type behind my back because I would get in trouble.
Yeah, he's also an incredible domainer and was the previous owner of affiliate.com, which is essentially the holy grail domain for our industry. Still kind of pissed he didn't call us when he was selling it. Yeah, just like, I mean, the first person to ever really sit down and teach me anything about marketing. He took me behind his booth at AdTech in like 2007 and taught me the ins and outs of email marketing and provided opportunities to some random kid he had never met before, trusted with millions of records of email data. Like, also a ruthless negotiator, does what he says, but make sure to teach young kids lessons so that they're better in business when they get older. Like, a lot of stuff, man.
This
I
is
even
a
talk
G.
about you in my book, Scott.
nice.
Like, it's pretty
I didn't even know I was
amazing.
in there.
Yeah.
Scott, can you remind me how you know Harrison?
I think it was back in the MySpace days. We had a bunch of young high schoolers who popped up on our affiliate network in like the 2005, 6, 7, 8, and the eras, mainly with all the ringtones, and we had all these kids. We had parents calling me, "Is something going on? You just wired my kid $50,000 this week. What's happening here?" They'd be like, "Yeah, just send it to my mom or my dad, the cash." That was it was the wild frontier days back then.
The internet was a different place back then, and I helped so many people have spicier ringtones, shall we say. I think that was a domain, like Spicy Tones or something. And, we helped people win free iPads, and we were really public service,
Yeah, with the ringtones, with the co-registration. Somebody has a crush on you. What's your IQ score? It was,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
These were
good.
the days.
The good stuff. And Josh, I recall when I was a kid never having a contract with Scott, but he always paid on time. And so like I feel like back in the day he set the standard for affiliate networks, just like taking care of their partners and doing what they say they would do. And so I still remember that fondly. Now we have thousands of customers, Scott, and like lots of them talk about how they get burned or don't get paid or people aren't transparent. And I just really appreciate that you set an example early in my career of how you should do business, because we've always modeled that with our partners. Always pay on time, always take care of
Once you shake
everything.
hands, don't go back on that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
really
that was really
important.
cool.
That's really important. So many people, but and that's from like doing business the old school ways. And I mean, I paid out millions of dollars I never got paid for. And like, and it's sad because most of the people nowadays in the industry, and even the last 10 or 15 years that I was in it, there's no loyalty. These people jump ship for $1 and no, you're gonna, pay 10 cents more than that guy. And I'm like, my employees have a 401k, they have health insurance. I actually have an office building. I have, and that's why, I mean, it's crazy when I look sometimes on LinkedIn and I'm like, holy, I remember that guy. And like, he's had 15 jobs in the last 16 years. And I'm like,
And that's the ultimate red
90% of the people I know are all broke or have no money. It's crazy. Like, some people are very successful in this and most of them, the rest of them all went broke or have different career paths now. But no, my big joke was always, I'm just going to hire these hot chicks and they're going to launch an affiliate network on like the 3 days before the end of the month. They're going to offer payouts that blow everyone away. They're going to pay every single person, after 3 days, and then they're going to take an entire month's worth of revenue and disappear at the end of the month. But everybody's going to be telling me they're paying more because, like I said, like there's just no loyalty, and it's sad because it's okay for I still tell people this today. It's okay for other people to make money. Surround yourself with successful people. Help people make money, and it's okay to make money. Like there's no crime in making a profit, and there's no crime in helping other people make money. But it's so sad how so many people just like greed take over.
Harrison's dad always says to us, and he's an old school investment banker, but he's like, if you're negotiating and you can like get that last 10%, but you're really going to have to fight for it, and the other side is going to be unhappy with the deal and build resentment, like that last few points is never really worth it. It's much better to have a really nice long-term relationship with people. There'll be more opportunities. Everyone's got to eat,
Yeah.
So
I'm
Scott,
very much into the abundance mindset.
Scott,
Yeah.
Adam is not a fan of origin stories. But today, Adam specifically wanted me to ask you how you got started in the marketing space, and I think that's just a sign of how much respect Adam and Harrison have for you. So I am curious, what did your start in the internet marketing world, or just the marketing world in general, look like?
Yeah, so I was at the time in like 1999, 2000. I was in the restaurant business, which I'm still in today. I had a chain of great restaurants called Great Sky Eatery. They're 24-a-day family restaurants. And I had a couple of sports bars called Colorado Sports Cafe. And I used to watch CNBC. I've always traded stocks and options my whole life. And I saw these websites launching. I couldn't even tell you what the names of them are, 25 years later today. But everything on CNBC was like, oh, this new website or new public company selling online just took off, made $50 million or worth $50 million today. And I said, I want to get in the online space, or how do I do it? So my first thing was pagers. So it was called Page It Now, and that was my first domain name. And you gotta remember, this is before the iPhones and smartphones. This is before even the BlackBerry. This is 2001. Everybody had pagers back there. I don't know if people even have pagers nowadays, but everybody. And I said, I want to have this service, and I want to get into the continuity because there's a lot of money in continuity if everyone every month is paying you and or yearly. So I started with pagers, and the problem with the pagers, it was a lot of service, and then kind of like pagers were the same thing for like 20 years. It was a little square box this big with 10 digits on top, and that was a pager. Well, all of a sudden, kind of like how cell phones exploded over the last 15 years, pagers, right around that 2001, all of a sudden there was the flip pager, the sidekick, and like pagers all of a sudden went from this little square box to 50 different kinds of pagers. And I was like, this isn't This isn't what I had in mind, and I didn't really foresee the technology and the changes coming. But I sold thousands of pagers online and stuff, and just got my feet wet. And then I said, looked at products, and then around the same time, I started doing diet products. But I was always paying people to send email, and I was just buying marketing lists to have them send, and then I started building the diet product business. And I just realized like it's how you brand it, it's your catchphrases. Also, people wanted deals. People have never seen this diet product. It's $29.99, but two of them for $24.99 a bottle, or three bottles at $19.99, or five bottles for $54.99, and people would buy 5 bottles of some product they never heard of. And my first product was called Inferno, and the slogan was "Melt the Fat Away." So it was really interesting. So and the product was total garbage. And so then I said, let me have a diet product that would actually work and be good. So I went to the manufacturer who was doing it for me, and I said, what's something that's really good? All this product is a bunch of ephedra, which now it would be like crack if I still had the bottles to people. But back in the day, it did nothing. It was just ephedra. And so I said, I came out with this product called Thermalife, and it actually had a lot of good ingredients in it. Cost me more to make a bottle, and it was a total failure. And I said, why doesn't it sell? And I don't know if it was, and I said, it just doesn't make any sense. So then I came out with the same product, and I rechanged it to Inferno 2, Melt the Fat Away, and it took off. I just realized every 2 or 3 months, I just keep coming out with Inferno 3. And as long as I had a good slogan, and I had a good, because people symbolize, I think, melting Inferno, this heat and melting the fat, but Thermalife really didn't mean anything to somebody. So it was really interesting. And then, like I said, I sold this guy, girl, 5 bottles of, diet pills, and 3 weeks later, they're buying 5 more diet pills just because they're going to save $30. So it was really interesting. I grasped the marketing quickly, and then I moved into other products. I started, like I said, I was paying people to send the email at the time. This is like 2000, 2001. And then it was that was like the first internet, when the first time the internet kind of broke. So then I started doing my own products. I set up SaveRealBig.com, had my own product. My first huge success was the cell phone Easy Booster. This was the biggest profit thing I ever sold in my life. This was a little sticker that went on the back of your cell phone that looked like a paper clip scraped all the way down that was supposed to give your cell phone better reception service. And this thing cost me 10 cents. It was a sticker. I don't know if it worked or not. I never tested. It was a sticker basically that you slap on. So I sold the sticker for $9.99. But if you bought 3 of them, for $19.99, or 10 of them for $25.99, $24.99 or something, plus $4.99 shipping and handling. So basically, most people were buying $30 worth of these, $1 worth of stickers. And I think at the time it was like 22 cents for the stamp, 32 cents. I don't know. I think stamps now are what, 60s. I have no clue. Haven't used the stamp in years, but this thing was just crazy. And then and emailing was, exploding at that time. I was buying all this data up. I was using a company called Postmaster General, which then became Mindshare, and some other email companies. We were just sending hundreds of millions of emails a day. Like it didn't matter what product I would go to the Asian distributors. They're like, or Asian importers, I should say.
Alibaba or whatever.
They would just every week. What's the newest product? It was like a little laser, this little spy ear, and just anything we could find, we would just sell thousands of. It was insane. And I did all my own packing in my basement. And then we kept growing, moved into offices, started selling our data list, and it just kind of migrated. And then the whole email canned spam hit in 2003, 4. But and then co-registration, the lawsuits. But the very interesting thing is, like I always tell people, is the internet constantly evolves. Every 2 or 3 years, you have to reinvent yourself. So first it was selling products, then it was email marketing, then it was co-registration, then it was ringtones. It just kept going and going and going. And I always had the affiliate stuff throughout the whole time, and then with the domains. But you like I said, you just constantly have to reinvest yourself. I had domains making thousands of dollars a day, typos of Facebook or Google, and just all sorts of stuff. Well, now with smart browsing and applications, nobody mistypes a domain at all. But I still have a lot of premium domains that do really well. I sell domains like you mentioned, affiliate.com. I sold Skinny. I just sold Skinny.com a year ago. I sold Pete.com last year. I sold I've got Broncos.com and Airline.com. I'm working with some deals on right now.
Damn,
so
those are huge, man.
I have some really good names.
What year? I was going to ask, what year did you like buy some of those? Because I feel like, nowadays you can't really get the premium stuff. So
yeah, well, you'd have to pay a premium for it. But I
Right.
started buying domains up pretty heavily in like 2007, 8, 9.
Yeah, that's always been a strategy that worked well for us. We have never been like, let's cheap out on a domain name, or let's try and save money by using a .io or something.
Ugh.
I really feel like the investment in the domain name is an investment in trust from the consumer, and it's usually worth every single penny.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you, Scott.
Mhm.
So I know you've pivoted a lot in your career, and a lot of affiliates have to pivot all the time. I literally call it the affiliate curse, where you like the offers change, everything changes,
Google
things stop
changes the
working.
rules, whatever. You got to just start from zero.
Yeah, and Harrison and I have been through this, a whole bunch of times, especially
More
as
than
affiliates. We've had, just like you, like big 8-figure businesses just turn on a dime, and you got to start over. So I'm curious what your strategy is when you finally realize, like, hey, I've had this business that's been going really well for me, but I see that it's gonna die, or it's just not really gonna work anymore. And then you're like, shit, I have to come up with another lane to go in. Like, do you have a strategy around this, or what have you learned when it's time to pivot instead of panicking, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know you don't panic, you execute. And so, like, what's your strategy to help affiliates and other business operators when they get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, one is you always want to constantly be, testing and, depending on, I mean, obviously I'm not really in the affiliate space any longer, but, I mean, when I was, you want to be, looking at trends. Yeah, I mean, I'm always talking to people, trying to get inside scoop or and I'm always watching stuff. I mean, you have to study what's happening, what products are moving. And sometimes I was a little slow to execute on when something was ending or like when business was taking a downturn. I mean, because you have to remember at my peak, I was doing I think our record year was 109 million dollars we did in like 2007 or 8. So I mean, the staffing requirements at that level were totally different than the staffing requirements when we did 50 million, or the staffing requirements which even a successful company doing 20 million for the year. And sometimes I was pretty loyal to some of my staff, so I didn't pivot fast enough, and I also just had some bad apples at times in my staff. But I mean, that's all part of it. But you definitely want to identify the trends. You want to always be testing, looking for, what's coming on strong. And I know, like now with the whole paper call, and now that everything's switching because of AI. AI is going to wipe out all these Indian call centers. And I mean, it's crazy how you can have an AI computer now pre-qualify somebody instead of an agent. It's better English, better data. I mean, like I said, everything's just changing. My son's doing drop shipping right now, so it's watching him test all these new products, what works. You spend a little money, then something works, you ramp it up, and it's funny. Like he's had some pretty big hits, and like some bloggers end up done like stories on it. Like they don't know it's him behind it, but they've done like they'll show his website or like his products that he's selling, and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon and kills the product because 300 people pop up tomorrow selling the same item. Also like it's you hit a water gun that's doing really well right now, but customer service and returns is through the roof. So it's like, what's the value of it if 50% of the people's product doesn't work? And so I've been mentoring and teaching him, but he's real sharp at learning and stuff. But it's interesting. Like, I see products, especially I travel a lot. So especially when I'm on, international and stuff, I'm always looking at, new items for them and sending it to them saying, hey, they're selling this on every street corner in, Colombia. That means this is going to be the next hot product coming out, or has a high margin, be on the lookout, for this item, or he'll be like, I already saw that, and stuff. But it's interesting. And especially now with me being on the influencer side and, some of the money I get, and, I mean, I have my own products that I built around what I do, which, does really well for me. And it's because I figure if someone's willing to pay me a lot of money to promote their, casino slot apps or casinos, why not have my own? Because obviously they figured out how to make it work. So I should be able to make it work better. And if I'm going to do it, organically anyways, I might as well, like I said, own the back end. But it's very interesting, like I said, and you just always have to be on top of it, what's coming up next.
I like what you said there. It kind of boils down to doing the work. And, I've been involved in some e-commerce, and people try and copy it by going to Alibaba and finding a manufacturer or whatever. But I never found that really worked. I would always be willing to get on the plane, go to the foreign countries, go to 30 factories and suffer in the middle of nowhere and like just deal with all that shit until I found the right partners to work with who didn't sell on Alibaba, who wanted long-term you know what I mean? Like really finding
you're actually building value, even though you're still selling a similar product to the guy on Alibaba.
Yeah.
Cost
And it's also on marketing.
Quality,
Yeah. I mean, it's on marketing. It's, knowing how to, get the right creatives. It's totally different now where, back in the day, the creatives were very simple. They weren't video ads. It was basically, just to clickbait stuff to get somebody to click and look at something. Where now it's, it's all video ads or, TikToks and reels and shorts. And it's crazy the distribution and reach on that, and stuff.
Yeah.
Scott, I want to ask you. Oh, go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, you're so right. We put the book out, right? And we're moving it through advertising. And I went in the Facebook ad library. I did this myself. I wanted to like ingest all the information. And I looked at hundreds or maybe 300-400 different book advertisements. And then we went and tested ads modeled on those, and they weren't performing. I don't think these people are actually selling any books. And then we ended up shooting hundreds of hours of footage, infomercials, taking thousands of photos. And then we have a whole video editing team now that's essentially creating like reel and TikTok style video ads to sell a book. I mean, it's a free book. You just pay shipping. But like, and it was crazy to me because I haven't done this in 10 years, how different the creative has to be based on all the technology. It's much harder to produce exceptional creatives today than like back in the day.
You can't just fill out the ad placement and call it a day, like OG style.
Scott, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, what goes into making a good creative now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it has to be something that's viral and stuff. And this is the best advice. This is the best advice anyone's going to tell you guys ever, and all your listeners and everything. This advice I'm going to give you guys is worth millions of dollars. Stop making creative and that you think your fans want and what people want. You need to make your stuff of what the algorithm wants. It's all about the algorithm. And if you don't make your creative and gear what you're doing towards the algorithm, it won't do anything. I have, if you look at like, I've changed my whole strategy on some stuff, and I'm starting to get, 4, 5, 8, 10 million views now on my little shorts and reels. And I mean, some of them are so dumb, they don't even make any sense, and then, people like the meme stuff, and it's like, and it's also the wording you use. If I put out something that says, like, I have these airport, skits, and I have like different series of skits, and it's also really interesting because you have the different audience ages. What works really well and blows up on Instagram, my audience is 18 to 24-year-olds will not work for me on Facebook, where my audience is 45 to 65, and vice versa, and Clapper, and it's really interesting. So some creative works in both locations, and just some stuff's funny, but certain keywords, if you want to have any meme blow up, just put bro. If you put bro in it, it's crazy what it does. If you put this dude, this guy, it won't do anything. It's just, you have to use the right words, the right terminology of what these, and it's tough because, I'm 50, plus years old. So it's hard for me to think like an 18-year-old, or 20, it's totally different mindset.
You're probably the hippest 50-year-old because of your experience with that. I was going to ask, if we take it a step further, how does one better understand the algorithms for each platform? Is it strictly trial and error and learning, or like, is there a place you can go to become an expert on each one?
Some of it is. I've spent a lot of money. I've hired the best experts, analytic, people. I've spent more money probably than anybody you'll ever meet or have on your show at hiring people to analyze data and statistics and everything. Plus, I can do it myself. I know. But so a lot of these experts, they're all going to just teach you basics, or they're going to teach you best practices. And the thing is, best practices isn't what works any longer on these platforms. So yes, when you make a thumbnail, you should do this. When you make, you should, tag all this, you should do this. Well, you could put out a video that doesn't even have a thumbnail. You could put out a video that doesn't even, have a subject line, and it'll do better than, something, if you put out this video, for example, and it says, OfferVault interview with, the Raja, it's not going to do anything. If you go, mind blowing, viral technique, learn from the Raja, this video is going to get a lot more clicks. Now, the thing is, you can get a lot of clicks. So I do a lot of A/B split testing. I do a lot of subject line split testing, because the thing is, you can get a lot more clicks, but it's what's the watch time. Now, it also depends what your goal is. If you're giving away a free book, you just want people to sign up, that may be a little different. I have a product, I have my content, my average watch time on a long form video is 17 minutes. I know the more watch time I have, the more advertisers I have that I'm getting paid ads for. So sometimes I have to, I balance it out. Yes, if I can get 50% more clicks from a misleading creative or aggressive creative, whatever you'd like to call it, that's terrific. But if the watch time on a misleading or aggressive, the creative says, this is specifically pretty much what's happening in the video, and it gets this amount of clicks, but I have a creative that says I just won my largest jackpot of my life and gets double the clicks. But if the watch time on the first creative is 17 minutes and the watch time on the second creative is 5 minutes, I'm better off with the 17-minute creative. It's going to make me more money, even though I don't have the bragging rights to be like, that video has 1 million views. This video only had, 500,000 views. But the 500,000 view video out earns the 1 million views. So there's a lot of stuff you have to look at in the back ends and analytics. And for me, at the end of the day, I just want to make money with what I'm doing. So I would much rather have a longer watch time, make more money off my videos than worry about the distribution. So it just depends on, what your strategy and your goal is.
I'm curious. Josh is absolutely horrible at growing his YouTube followings for OfferVault. He runs the show over there.
Dude.
What advice can you give Josh on how to better gain more followers with the OfferVault YouTube channel?
Well, maybe, more livelier, maybe Josh needs better co-hosts. It's hard to say.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No,
Thank you.
It's a work in progress. Like I said, what is it? What, have you taken the time to ask your audience, what is it they want to see? Who do they want to see? If you interview, if you're looking, do they want to see you interviewing, a guy who's making $1 million a day, on Google Ads? They want you to, a month or, I guess it is, what is your audience looking for? Do you even know what your audience wants or is looking for? Do you even know who's watching your videos? Do you even know your if I asked you right now, what's your demographic? What percentage is US? What percentage is English speaking? Do you know all that off the top of your head?
Yeah, mostly US speaking, vast majority. Average age range is like 25 to 45, skewed male, somewhere in between the 80 and 90% range. A lot of the followers and watchers come from industry Skype groups, Facebook groups, email lists that we and some of our other companies control. I get texts all the time from our friends that watch the shows. So there's hundreds of industry executives and CEOs that watch the shows. Their staff watches the shows. And then obviously we get random traffic that comes in elsewhere.
Learning about affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
The new, the student of marketing, I guess you could call it.
Yeah. One of the most recent pods we put out had which was an interview of me. I just looked at the watch time. It was like 12 or 15 minutes average watch time, which was decently high. Yeah. So I think the audience is the right audience.
Yeah, without looking at your page, it's hard to say. The other thing is I'm in a niche market with casinos, but obviously there's a lot more people who gamble in casinos than there is affiliate marketers. But it's also hard to grow something that's in a niche market because it's a niche. It's a niche. If you're an exotic dancer, at an adult club, you're probably not watching OfferVault, podcasts, but you may watch, Joe Rogan. So it's there's different things and different targeted audiences.
Unless you're trying to escape.
It's true.
So I have to ask, Scott, the last time I saw you in person was at Affiliate Summit in New York, and you were already doing Wand.com and the casino thing, but I neglected to ask you, what triggered this? Because when I see you do this, and I get your viral videos, and I've watched your slot content, and
I have as well.
I'm not a gambler, but we go back, so I'm fascinated by what you're doing. This is clearly a passion project. What triggered the transition into this? Because you seem to have fallen in love with what you do all over again.
Yeah, I enjoy the traveling. I enjoy meeting people, and I was always a back end person. I was not Mr. Personality. I was not. I know I became the poster child of email marketing and a lot of different things that I did, but I was never the guy who wanted the spotlight. I had other employees who always wanted the spotlight. I was happy that they enjoyed it. I was always, an operations guy, numbers guy, person who got it done. So this is a little different. So it's taken me a long time to understand the whole concept of it and what it is I'm doing. And I also don't want to waste my time doing something that's not going to be highly profitable. Like I tell people, I have 100 ideas a day that can make $100, but I don't have the staff and the team at the time to execute those 100 ideas. I want something that's going to make me millions and millions of dollars. So, it's taken a long time to build this up, and it's crazy. Like I've never seen myself as a celebrity, but I walk in a casino now. I have 300-400 people come to my meetups and my events. People I get recognized. I'm at airports in Germany and breakfast in Mexico. It's you have to remember I have over 35-40 million views a month average. I have 2 million followers between all the platforms. It's just crazy how much this is grown, and and the thing is, there's times, and the thing is, I do have a high cost for content. So you have a lot of vloggers and content creators. If you're doing a food review, it costs the price of dinner, and now most of these guys are getting free dinners or paid because they want to restaurants want them to come review their places. Well, I have to spend on average $100,000 a month to produce content because unfortunately gambling is not free. So I have a high cost of production, so I have to bring in a lot of money in sponsorships and endorsements and my own products. But it's a balancing act, and then there's times I'm like, this is just I don't know. There's times you get burned out, and especially like it's mentally draining if you're making a slot video and you put in $10,000-$20,000 into a machine and can't hit a jackpot, nothing's happening on the machine. I mean, it's boring, and you scrap that content, you do something with it. It's much more exciting when you're playing a machine, you're winning, and it's going well for you. It's an exciting video to watch. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of times I say, I don't have to work another day in my life. I'm set for life. My kids are set for life. I've made some really good business decisions. Nice real estate portfolio, other investments. But then people come to me and they said, during COVID, you really got me through it. I go get, I was getting chemo treatment, 3 times a week for the last 2 years, and I watched your videos, and there's those people like that I say, maybe there's a purpose or a reason why I'm still doing this. And then sometimes it becomes a challenge. Then sometimes it's like, I want to see, how big can I really take this? And then I wonder to myself sometimes, what difference does it make how big it is? Do I want, I can never in the rest of my life walk, and I enjoy gambling, but I'm not like, I think there's a big confusion between like I would never go to the casino 5 days a week, maybe Vegas once a month, every other month, and go to the casino. I mean, if I didn't go to a casino another day in my life would be fine. But some people think I must be this like an addicted gambler, and I have full self-control. I'm not. I can start and stop at any given time. I don't go crazy. I definitely would never play with money I can't afford to lose. But just like I said, so it's you have your good days and your bad days with with gambling and stuff. But it's like I said, it's a little different because you're wagering and risking so much to produce this content.
By the way, when I saw you do this, it never once crossed my mind that this was like, oh, he just is a gambler. It to me, I know you though, it just seemed like a vehicle for creating something. Like, I don't think for you or for us even, like the vehicle is the vehicle. It's the goals that you're working towards that really matter. So, as someone who's done business with you, like I don't know, I didn't think you were addicted to gambling. I thought you were like, I'm gonna figure this YouTube thing out. I'm gonna grow my audience. Like, I saw you just building a business.
It was like slowly, but you built a back end, because I've seen some of your earlier content and like there were no sponsors really, or where you're just like showing the slot, play, and it's, quick clip or whatever, you hit a jackpot, and that's the whole video. Now, I mean, and I'd love to hear kind of what that consists of. You've essentially built a back end. So you mentioned you have a slots app, and then I'm assuming like just the ad revenue from these videos is the primary business, or how does it work?
Yeah, so you have the ad revenue from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and that's good. That's good income. But I have my own slot app, the Big Jackpot slot app on iOS and Android store. So originally I built it as a notification app, and then I put a slot game on it, and it just kind of took off from there. And now it does really well. I mean, I have 500,000 plus downloads. I have several thousand active daily players. They do in-app purchases. I also have an online casino for people outside of the USA that does really well that I launched during COVID. And then I have, sponsorships, and other deals. I get upwards of $50,000 a month to create content for international casino, online, other slot apps and stuff that, if you've seen, ads of me running around, or it's like, just delete it, do not top up, and, all this stuff. I have a highly recognizable voice from all the videos and all the content. Now we're doing a lot of funnier videos. They're taking like a lot of my meme content and turning those into viral videos for ads. And we have, so every month I shoot like 5 to 10 commercials for them. We're doing like an airport shoots now, convenience stores, like all over the place, in restaurants. They hire 3 or 4, actor and actresses, for these shoots. So a whole film crew, like it's a pretty big production. And like some of these companies, are just massive companies that own these, slot apps. Like NetEase, AppLovin, and those guys, these companies are, multi-billion, 10, 20, $50 billion businesses, for these in-app purchase, slot apps.
Wild. Do you happen to know you said you had about 2 million followers. Do you happen to know the timeline and the arc of the growth of followers? Like over what period of time? And then is it linear, or do you see like a more exponential growth curve?
Yeah, the last year or two has definitely been a lot faster growth as gambling. More and more gambling is becoming more and more popular.
More states are legalizing it too.
Yeah, legalizing, but there's also been some, things that helped and hurt it. When TikTok came around in the beginning, TikTok was really big. They allowed pretty much anything to go, and they had all this traffic. So, I mean, I was getting, every video I put up, get a couple 100,000 views. I would go live on TikTok. I could have 15, 20,000 people watching. And then TikTok kind of took a hard line against gambling. So that kind of, so like as more things came around, and do well. Right now, Instagram is just exploding with gambling. A lot of these guys are, doing casinos online, betting on like doing blackjack, and so you're hitting some new audiences. I think the sports betting in all the states, it's opening up. Gambling slot machine play inside casinos is kind of a dying sport. It's, older people. You don't see a lot of young kids doing it because of the cost of it, and the return's not very good. Most people, 99% of the people who are 21 years of age who go to a casino with $100 are going to lose that $100 in 5 or 10 minutes and say that was a total waste of money. I don't really have that much money anyways, and they never gamble again. It's that 1% of the people who go to the casino with $100, win $5,000, and then the rest of their life, they're never going to have $1 in their bank account because they're hooked. And it's really hurt casinos. So they've tried, making games around movies, around celebrities, around, popular things, to try and get people invested in it. And it just really doesn't work. But the table games, a lot of people were always afraid to play table games like blackjack and craps and roulette because they look like these very, very complicated things, but they're not very complicated at all. They're very simple, and anybody with an IQ over about, 10 could probably figure it out in less than 15 minutes how to play most of these games. But it's just, it just scares people. And now that you have a lot of these young, people, that are, barely 21, that are, teen idols playing online blackjack for casinos like Stake and, on Kick and different stuff like that. Now it's become kind of this mainstream boom for all these kids. So, most of them now all refer to me as like the OG of, gambling and slots and, it's like,
I love that.
But it's crazy. Like I said, my audience was this older audience, and now I'm, getting hit up. Like I was just in Vegas. I just did some stuff with like Sean Perry, it's one of the, top poker players in the world, huge sports bettor. I was with Bryce Hall the last 2 days, doing stuff. So it's these guys all want, to get in on what we're doing because there's so much money in this. And this is going to become, not to be a negative on this, but this whole sports betting and legalized gambling it's going to hurt casinos long term, but the casinos don't care because they own the apps. And the other big thing with all of this, which is going to hurt everything, is these college kids, everybody says, oh, it's $1, it's $5 parlay, but they're doing 10 parlays a day for $1, $5, $10, and they're losing $100, $200 a day, and they have no money. All their money for college is going out the door, and it's becoming a big problem. And social media has these spurts where they start cracking down on it, but it's some of the biggest revenue. These advertisers are paying $40, $50 CPM to advertise to my user base. Think about it like this: my user base is golden. These are if these are all gamblers. These are people who have discretionary money or non-discretionary money that they go blow in casinos. This isn't a hard sale. This is people who have cash in their pocket.
Want to do it.
Go spend it. Yeah, I want to do it. This isn't holy rollers and a church website where we have to pull $5 out of them is a miracle. This is people who travel. This is people who need cash advances, need credit cards, want to go on, cruises. Like I have this prime audience of money spenders.
I think it goes
That's
the other
amazing.
way too with, your viewers. Like, I was going to back you up on what you said. 6 months ago, I wasn't watching anything related to slots or any casino related content on Instagram. And I'm not kidding you, man. It's like at least 50% of my feed now. I'm just like, I love.
Gosh, do we need to give you the number to call?
No, I'm not participating. Dude, I just love these guys playing slots. It's exciting, and I think you could back me up on this or give me your opinion, Scott, but like I get to experience that rush without taking any of the risk. Like, what do you think the science is behind why people are so interested in this content?
I think a lot of people just never have seen it, don't understand it. Like I said, they were afraid of it. And they do. And I have it both ways. People who live vicariously through me. And then I have the people who say they watched me, went to the casino, lost all their money, and can I loan them $10,000? And I'm like, oh, wow. But the other thing is also like, I'm considered a high roller. So, there's thousands of slot creators now out there. And everyone and their mother wants to be a content creator. But people don't. But the difference is, the guy who's betting, $1, $5 a spin, he has his audience, but a person who spends hundreds of dollars or, is betting $50, $100 a spin is not watching that person. And that's why I have so much value to a casino when we do meet and greets, when, I do like VIP dinners for the top 20 customers I'll invite in. And, because I have those high rollers who are watching me because, I would never, obviously I have friends in the industry, so maybe I'll watch their video and they're betting $5. But, if I was just a normal gambler at my level of play, I would never watch a video of a guy betting $1 because what would be the excitement to me? So I'm just going to watch the high roller. So I hit both audiences, and that audience just has such a high value. I go to a casino and I bring in customers who bring $250,000 line of credit, to play with. That's worth so much money for a casino.
Because they're going to keep coming back, win or lose. And then I assume the casinos love it because you mentioned it, you curate the content, so people see online all these winners. Because like even the guys posting blackjack videos, like they're not generally posting nights where they get smoked. You know what I mean? So it's like there's also this like, well, look, everyone wins. I should probably go right now. We're in Miami. I'm going to go to Hard Rock because I saw these 14 videos of Scott killing it on the slots here.
Yeah.
So there's
we just had a huge event down at Hard Rock Hollywood. We had 300 people there, big slot. They just did a $200,000 slot tournament around me and another Lady Luck HQ, another influencer. It's huge, the people it brings in, but it's like I said, it's very, the growth of all this has just been crazy this last year because people are really just getting into it. They're just understanding it. And it's the excitement, like we put you in the action. And the other thing, like when I'm playing too, is I'm hitting a lot of, hopefully they raise the minimum on jackpots because it is a pain at $1,200. But when you're watching my videos, and if I'm betting $100, that's the same as you betting $1 and winning $12, me betting $100 and winning $1,200. But it's the excitement of, I just hit 10 jackpots in the last 15 minutes, boom, 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 and it gets people pumped up, and it gives you that rush, like you were saying.
I think it's interesting your point about young kids going to a casino and then never going back. You literally described my experience when I was 18. I went to Mount Pleasant in northern Michigan where 18 and up can gamble. I took $200. I lost it. And then I took $100 out of the ATM to try and solve the problem. And I lost that too. And I decided until Mount Pleasant Casino sends me that $300, I'm never gambling again. And I really haven't. I never gone back in or played. To me, it created this like emotional barrier where this isn't fun. And it wasn't until a few years ago when I played poker, which isn't against the house, that I really enjoyed that because I like games of skill, right?
Yeah.
And reading people and stuff. But yeah, that one experience when I was 18 sort of created this massive distrust and distaste in casinos, and I never really thought about it until you mentioned it.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it's the best thing that happened to you because it was the best $300 you ever spent instead of spending 300,000 over the next 10 years of
Yeah.
playing.
Scott, do you ever do any content creation where you're collaborating with other, of the bigger influencers that are also on Instagram and stuff like that? And when you do,
Yeah.
if you do you find that they're mutually beneficial for both parties, or is one person usually walking away like getting the better end of the deal?
It depends on who it depends on who I'm collaborating with. I do a lot of collaboration. I do a lot of stuff just because I'm a nice guy with people who have much smaller channels, so they're getting the 100% of the benefit of it.
Right.
But I enjoy seeing them grow, or I don't know, maybe I see something in them that maybe one day will. I've helped a lot of people even back in the affiliate days. I've helped a lot of people over the years, and it's funny. One of the best dinners I ever had was in 2011. 2010, 2011 with a guy who worked with Marcus from Plenty of Fish, and it was in New York. And I had this dinner, and who would have known that this guy would, turn out to be the, CMO of Facebook, and I was gonna have a problem one day and email this guy, and it was gonna be fixed within minutes. So I mean, you have those connections that you make, and I think like I said, I've always tried to be that good guy. I've always tried to help people. And I think it's just one of those things where just never know what happens.
Well, to your philosophy there, you and I met when I was a kid. You helped me for absolutely no reason. I had nothing to give you. And then years later, we did many, many millions of dollars in business. And that was simply because like, oh yeah, we know Scott. Scott's cool. We'll do business with Scott. And like, it literally all stems from the giving back before you receive anything. So I think that's really cool.
I always believe in give everybody an opportunity to screw you over.
Scott, I know we're running short on time, but I can't let you get out of here without asking you about the $1 million jackpot. What the hell was that experience like? Because I'm sure even for a man in your position, that had to be cool.
Yeah, no, that was definitely exciting. I've been chasing my biggest jackpot ever for 6 years. Previously, my biggest jackpot was $100,000 in 2018. So I've been chasing my biggest jackpot forever. And, I mean, this is what I do. I create content. I play millions of dollars through slot machines a year. And it's like, how can I never get something bigger? I mean, I was betting I did my birthday bash 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I blew $250,000 on $5,000 spins. And the biggest jackpot I hit was $16,000.
Oh,
so
that's painful.
Totally unexpected. And this will throw in a little, this is funny, since you guys are in the industry. When I hit the $1 million, there's a lady hollering in the background, and that's Missy Ward was with me, who is one of the founders of Affiliate Summit.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
And she has no clue what's going on. She doesn't. I don't think Missy knew if I hit $1,000, $20,000, or the $1 million. I think she thought I just hit the 21,000 that this machine showed. I'm like, Missy, it's $1 million. So she has no idea. And she, like, her and Bowden have been on some cruises with us, and always,
cool.
She is such a nice lady. But I don't think she had it. Most of my friends actually had no idea. I sent a few pictures to people, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool. You hit 21,000." I'm like, that was $1 million. Because they're like, I never sent pictures. I was like, but I was like, a few of my friends, I was like, I gotta send a picture of this one. It was like 1 a.m. in Vegas. And
when you won that,
funny.
did the hotel what does the hotel do to try to keep you playing after $1 million win? Because I assume they want.
I mean,
they want
I
it back,
took $1
right?
million of it in a check, and then the rest of it in cash. I just played with it. They haven't actually. I've said this to people before. The Venetian Palazzo hasn't really done a good job of follow up on it. It's kind of like, hey, I mean, I get hit up by hotels all the time, but the other thing is, there's two things. Like, some casinos value me as a player. Well, pretty much every casino values me as a player just because I'm a great player to have. but not all casinos value me on the social media side. And I'm after both of those things. I can go to any casino in the world and get $5,000-$10,000 in free play to walk in the door and open up a credit line, but that doesn't help my, if I'm not shooting content nowadays, I'm probably not gambling. Very rarely, I'll still play late at night or just for some enjoyment, just because it's nice not to have to record and talk to yourself in front of a phone. But 90% of the time, if I'm recording, if I'm in a casino playing, it's to make content. Just because I have to, put in so many hours, it's like a, 40-hour work week of, filming slot machines.
Well, Scott, you've given our viewers a million reasons to watch this episode. Really appreciate you coming on the Affiliate Marketing Show. Would love to have you back in the future. For myself, Josh from OfferVault, Mr. Papercall Adam Young, the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, and the founder of Redirect.com, as well as the Big Jackpot, and so much more, the legend Scott Richter. Let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We will see you next time.